Hello Internet, so nice to see you. Do you like the sound you've just heard? I love them and I'm going to show you how to do them too, how to play them, how to understand them. When I see other videos on YouTube about those techniques I'm going to show you, it always surprises me how they show you, in a sense, the surface level idea, and they never go a little bit in depth. But I do understand going a little bit in depth requires a little bit more time, okay? So I want to do a different thing here. So I'm going to show you how to play those things. I'm going to show you the surface level stuff, but I want to go a little bit in depth here because this way you don't have to just copy my lick. I'm going to show you how to write licks that work with those sound, how to take existing lick and make them work with those ideas so that if the sounds you've just heard at the beginning of the video are something you like, you will be able to apply them to everything you can already play. And we're gonna really go in detail on how to do it, okay? This makes this video slightly longer than usual, okay? So yeah, I know you're looking at right now at how long is this video, like, wow, that's long. I don't have all this time today. Great, if you don't have time, no problem, I'll see you next week. But if you have the time, this video, with a little bit of patience, if you follow through this video with your guitar, you try what we are playing, and in a little less than 15 minutes, you could be a vastly better guitar player. That's the promise, and you're gonna see if I fulfill it or not. Let's go. If you're wondering what's happening with the picture, I haven't the faintest either. This is just to keep your attention while I explain the procedure. Procedure is called adding notes. Now, this is not gonna make any sense, but follow me anyway. You choose a note, any note. You add it in a different position of the lick, and you can also decide to add more notes through phrasing. Now, this explanation, as I write in the slide, means next to nothing. But once you see what we are doing, you see that it's impossible to explain in words, okay? We need to explain these with examples. Our first lick is the pentatonic scale. And I'm gonna pick an extra note. I'm gonna pick this blue note, okay? Okay, because I wanted something dissonant this time, so you can see that you can put in nearly anything. Okay, and again, in context, this note by itself is pretty dissonant. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna choose a position in the lick before the notes, after the first note, after the second note, after the third note, after the fourth note, after the fifth note, after the last note. Whew. Okay, and then I'm just putting in that note. Okay. Super obvious idea, or at least it's obvious now that you've seen it. It wasn't obvious before, right? How many of you were doing this before? How does this work? Pretty well. So again, original lick. I'm going to play a chord just before, which is just an A minor 7, just to give a bit of a context to this thing. So original lick, first variation. Again, changing the rhythm. Or, okay, you pick the one you want. Second variation. Third variation. Fourth variation. That's what everybody would play, because it's just the scale. Fourth variation. Next variation. And last variation. Okay, the last one is very Pink Pantherish. Okay, I'm just adding the note. Okay, and again, depending on the note you add, the lick takes a different flavor. Those are all variation. They all sound similar. They have the same note. So they all sound in the same style. So you can use one after another, or you can put them in the same solo, and it will sound like something new, even if it's something old. I'm adding the same note to our blues stock lick. I can add it at the very beginning. Okay, I can add it after the bend. By the way, I put in the tablature, I put the note on the third string. Sometimes I'm playing this note on the second string, fourth fret, just for ease of playing, okay? So it's up to you where you want to play this note. Third variation. Yeah. Yeah. As I said, I didn't learn all those licks by heart. I'm literally sight reading them. Next variation, number 4. Yep. Fifth variation. That's it. Last variation. Some of you will like all of them. Some of you will hate all of them. Maybe it's the lick or the sound of the specific note. Some of you will like some and not others. Great. Whoever you are, you try those variations and see what happens. Now, a little bit of caution here. Those licks sound different when you listen to them and when you play them. Because when you play them, you are very much self-conscious on that extra note. Okay? So, if it happens, and again, I'm saying if, I'm not saying this is going to happen definitely, but if it happens that when I was playing them, they sounded okay with you. And when you play them, they don't sound okay anymore. Okay, it's because you are self-conscious about that note that you are adding, which is dissonant. Okay, in this case, just pick up your phone, go on the voice memo application, click on record, put it down on your table, play the lick, stop the voice application, listen back to your recording, and now you have a more objective perception of that lick. Anyway, we are not done yet. Okay, so we can, again, just add a note like I'm doing right now, but there is something better we can do. We can add phrasing, okay? Now, I'm gonna take a very specific phrasing element. It's still adding stuff, okay? Usually when we add phrasing, we don't change the lick much. But in this case, we are going to, because we're gonna add a mordant. Okay, a mordant is this thing where you take a note and you play the note just above chromatically or diatonically, so in the scale or outside the scale, and come back. Or at least that's what some people call a mordant. Some people call the mordant when you go below. Okay, some people call a mordant an even different thing, whatever. Not a problem. The feature here is that the mordant change, in this case, the timing of the lick. Pay attention here because that's the key point. The mordant change the timing of the lick because the mordant lasts for add an extra 8 note to your note, okay? Because the original pentatonic scale sounds like this. But with the mordant, it sounds. So original. So all the notes after the mordant get shifted an 8 note. By the way, I'm doing the chromatic mordant, meaning I'm going up 1 fret. If you don't like the sound of this B flat note here, go up 2 frets. Okay? The distance of the note, it's immaterial. You pick the one you like. I can do this on any note. Okay? And again, we started here. But if you play this, it's pretty plain. If you play this, or that sounds a bit more snazzy, okay? If we do this on our stock lick, what's gonna happen? Well, original lick, I'm not putting the mordant on the bend. But if you guys want to, you can. Okay, you have to find a way to, and there are many ways of doing it, but I'm not doing this right now. Just stay on a normal note. So original lick, mordent on the second note. Okay, it's good to have a rhythm in mind for those things, so you can hear how the lick change. Mordent on the third note. Mordent on the fourth note. Mordent on the last note. Okay, and again, if you don't like the chromatic stuff, move an extra fret and get on a different note. Now, those mordents sound great, in my personal opinion, on arpeggios. Okay, because on an arpeggio, I mean, when you play an arpeggio, it's very predictable. It's a sound you have in mind. When you add a mordent, you add an extraneous element, okay, which is both harmonical and rhythmical, because you have a note in the arpeggio, and you break the pam 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 pam, okay, the sameness of the rhythm. So okay, it just breaks a little bit the arpeggio. If you take, for all of you who are sweep arpeggio-aholics, okay, you play a lot of sweep arpeggios, okay, sweep arpeggio tend to sound all this kind of blah, 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 blah all the time. Now, you add a mordent, and already it breaks up the thing, rather than playing or. Okay, you may want to see me for this, maybe. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm playing this A major arpeggio here. Okay, standard sweep arpeggio. I'm just sliding on the third string now. On the second. Makes sense? So this breaks a little bit the arpeggio, makes something a little bit more interesting, okay? Since we are here, and again, I don't really have a slide for that, but this kind of sliding back and forth one fret also works great when you play double stops. It's a bit technically harder to do, okay? But let's say you have, since we were talking about Hendrix licks, you know, so stuff like that, say. Okay, standard Hendrix lick. You do this thing here. If I play slow, it sounds horrible. As you totally can hear the notes are wrong. Okay, but if I just do the back and forth, now it sounds good. Okay, so this works great on double stops, chords, etc., as long as you don't stop on the note on the note one fret above. Okay, just giving you some ideas. Make sense? So recapping this segment, we have the adding notes. Pick one note and put it somewhere in the lick, or add a mordent, meaning pick a note of the lick and slide it up and down one fret. Okay, it is now time to practice. So let's go. And after all that, the only thing you are missing is to be familiar with your guitar fretboard. So you know what you can play and how to find the right notes or the right double stops to apply this idea. If you want to learn your fretboard in a guitar-friendly way, in a human-friendly way, because you're not a computer, if you want to understand it in a way that becomes completely second nature, so that you don't have to spend a lot of time doing strange math to understand the fretboard, you want to see it in a visual way, you want to see it in an intuitive way, if you want all that, I recommend that you guys check out my course, Master of the Modes. Master of the Modes, it's not a book, and it will never be a book. It's a complete video course made by guitar players for guitar players that take you from zero to become an expert in using modes and scales. This course is for people who are not afraid to do some exercises. Theory is important, applying theory is more important, so the course is taught through exercises that you have to do, and the more you practice them, the better you become. If you have just a minute, check out Master of the Modes at the link on the top right. If you like these videos, smash on that like button, don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any idea, any feedback, any suggestions, please write them down in the comments. I love to read from you. This is Tommaso Zilio of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!